Hi, everybody. This is Steve Hopkins, and this is the PongCast. This is part of an interview series discussing table tennis with some of the best players and personalities in the sport. It is my distinct pleasure today to welcome Adoni Maropis. Adoni is an actor with a long history of appearances in film and TV, but that's just his day job. I've seen numerous interviews with Adoni where he clearly identifies as a table tennis player, more specifically as a classic or orthodox player of hardbat and sandpaper. It is the latter point that raises him from being a really interesting person to being a really interesting table tennis personality, and that's why you're here today. So, Adoni, welcome to the PongCast.
Well, thank you. But I have to say something, Steve. I call it ping pong. I mean, now I play hardbat. So we're old school. And I think they called it ping pong back in the day, but I call it ping pong. So I take a little offense at you saying that I play table tennis. I'm just kidding. But I do call it ping pong. I do.
Well, I've seen you play with a lot of skill, and for a lot of us, we kind of differentiate ping pong being basement sport and table tennis being more of the professional and formal variety. But yeah, you're right. Those terms go back and forth, and I think well, right back to PongCast. It's not the table tennis cast, right? Most of us, when we're talking back and forth to each other, ping pong or pong is what I hear. So I'm going to maneuver over to table tennis here in a minute, but I wanted to take a crack at giving people kind of a taste of, I guess I'll say views of you that they might be more used to seeing. So let's see here.
Wait, yeah.
Excuse me as I jump around slides, but give me an overview as to who these guys are.
Well, let me just do an impersonation of each one. So at the bottom left, you see Troy. And my line in Troy, I think, was, "My king, Achilles is not with the army." I think that was what I said. That was my only line. Quan Chi. I used to love waking up with the voice of Quan Chi. So that was always fun to maintain that. It's hard to do later in the night playing Sakar, the Falcon Man. My line was, I forget the line, but anyway, it was a great line that I had is when I walk up to with Viggo Mortensen. It was an amazing movie. I had to learn to ride a horse, which I didn't ride for 2 months. I learned to ride a horse and became pretty expert at it, and with a falcon as well.
Yeah, I was going to say holding just one hand with a bird on your other hand. Wow.
My horse was called Ghost because he would jump at every little insect or whatever, and he was like a Cadillac. I just had to barely tap him to go left, right, backwards, forward, and so working with a falcon with a horse like that was a bit scary, but I did it, and so that was an amazing thing. And then, of course, 24, which I nearly died playing, because when I get killed on 24, I literally got hanged. I got unconscious for a bit as the chain was wrapped around my neck. I ended up going to the hospital. So, yeah, I live my parts typically. So anyway, there you go.
Well, so again, I was doing just kind of a quick review of this earlier today, just making sure I didn't short you too much. Yeah. I think I saw that you were credited in appearing in 49 different shows and movies, though a lot of them have, multiple episodes. And, so with this PongCast, most of the time I've been asking folks for stories. So before I jump from this slide, do you have a favorite acting story you'd like to share?
Oh man, you know what? There are so many stories, but let me tell you, since I talked about Hidalgo, at the beginning of the race, the big race, the 3,000-mile race across the desert, it's me. It was my first scene of the movie. So we fly to Morocco, and the first scene, I'm on my horse, and there's 100 horses. Actually, there were 97, but there were supposed to be 100, 97 horses. And me and Viggo Vigo's horse is over here, there's someone between us, and then there's my horse. And they would literally shoot a gun, and we would take off like a bat out of hell. Now I'm wearing this long flowing attire as Sakar, the Falcon Man. And it was so dangerous because, you know, my garments could catch on another horse, whatever. And we're literally just bumping horses and all that. And the first two races they had, my horse won. He was so scared. He was shaking like crazy, and he took off like a bat out of hell. And Vigo literally said that was the most dangerous thing he had ever done. The guy who was my stunt rider was riding someone else's horse because I was riding, and he fell off his horse twice, and he broke his neck the second time. And yeah, it was the most dangerous thing. And then they had us all line up. They had the cameras 15 feet in front of us, and we're revving up the horses. And the first assistant director, he shoots his gun, and our horses lunge right at everybody in the camera. And we're like, what the heck are you doing? Oh my God. It was like 100 horses were going to run over the director, the assistant director, and all the actors. But anyway, that was the first scene of the movie. Unbelievable. Yeah, it was an unbelievable. I lived that part too, because I got sick, nearly died over there too. It was living the part, actually living the part.
Well, I've with all of the COVID-19 stuff, I'm going back and watching a lot of old shows, but 24 is one of them. So yeah. I'm gonna pick out the right episodes to watch you on some of these things again.
My favorite thing about 24 was when women that I knew would come up to me, and I'd see them, and their mother would call or something, and I would say, "Hey, let me talk to your mother." And I'd get on the phone and I'd say, you know, something to the effect of, "I'd like to date your daughter, you know, please. I look forward to going on a date." And they'd be like, "No, please don't put my daughter on the phone." I'd say, "She's busy. I can't right now. I want to talk to you." They would be so terrified. Oh man, it was funny. It was funny. I used to do that a lot, you know. Anyway.
So, what do you have that's current, that's going on right now in the acting world?
You know, right now the main thing is a script that I wrote with my father. That's been years coming, you know, so we'll see. We have a director now for our movie. It will take place in Greece. It takes place during World War II. But, you know, that's a process, you know. Money,
hopefully you'll be stuck over there for 6 or 8 months in nice weather.
Yeah, hopefully. But I did a short last year that was very interesting, and we'll see when that's going to come out. But it was just a short, but it's a great role where I play a guy who he's a what do you call it? A hermit. He's like he's a hermit, but he's a hermit of light. Instead of darkness and enclosures, he's about lights on all the time, and so he's kind of a strange character, and yeah, interesting. So I hope that comes out soon, so we can.
Well, sounds neat. Again, I'm fascinated by the whole industry, but you in particular. I'm a fan. We've had some discussions before about type 1 diabetes, and that it's something that has affected you for your life, and wondering if you'd like to touch on that real quick as well.
Well, I mean, it really goes hand in hand with ping pong, you know. About the time that I probably discovered that I was a diabetic, I was playing ping pong, you know, before I could look over the table. And I just realized that, you know, ping pong was a big part of me feeling good and me living a healthy life. And I discovered that. But it was everything, fitness, you know, as my saying is, the reason I survived at a time when people didn't survive as diabetics. And I think I was the only one that survived the study. It's like a 40-year study. I just got a letter from them. And, you know, at the time people were, you know, getting complications and dying left and right. And so they would keep seeing me every year or every 2 years. And they say, "We want to study you. Why are you still alive?" And I would tell them, it's love, laughter, and fitness. It's being surrounded with love, laughter. I bring laughter. I'm a silly, goofy guy, you know, that does impersonations and all kinds of things, but fitness, love, laughter, and fitness, health, you know. So, and ping pong was a big part of that for me, you know, big part of it. So.
All right. So let's ask this question. Why hardbat and sandpaper?
Okay. I played ping pong till I was about 15 years old with my brothers, and I used to beat them all the time. So they quit playing. And then we went to college and all that. But at the time when we played, I said, you know, we could be national champs at this, you know. I remember Danny Seemiller was my idol, but I never saw him play, just on, you know, ESPN at the time. And we didn't know hard bat from regular. We used to play with the hardest rackets in the world. They were like rocks. That's what we played with, you know. And so I quit ping pong for 25 years. And then right before I got 24, I was really down and out. I needed to bring some joy to my life. And I said, what's going to bring me joy? And I thought about, I was living in a house with other people, and I thought of my family and my dad, my brother. I said, oh, ping pong. So I knocked on everybody's door, and I said, you know, I'm thinking I'm going to get a ping pong table, put it in the living room. I hope you're okay with it. And they would say, and I said, thank you very much. And I knock on another door. I'm going to get a ping pong table, I think, and put it in. I hope you're okay with it. And it's like, well, okay, thanks. And I ended up getting a table, and people had to, you know, watch TV around the table. But it brought so much joy to me. And then I got 24. And then I discovered that there are people who play ping pong out there in the world. You know, I went to some parks and whatever. And I remember a guy gave me a racket. I was using a Big 5 racket. And a guy gave me a racket that was sponge. And I hit with it for like a couple months maybe, and I made it to the finals of Santa Monica tournament. But I didn't like it. I didn't feel the ball like I did with the rock rackets that I had as a kid. So I remember Ed Ball. Most people know Ed Ball in the ping pong world. He says, hey, you want to try this racket? It's 90 cents. It's called a hardbat racket. I said, really? I go, why is it called a hardbat? He goes, because it's hard. It doesn't have a sponge. I said, oh, sure. I played, and I was like, wow, this reminds me of playing as a kid. So that's how I started in hardbat. That's how I started. Yeah.
All right. So I think you're being a little soft-spoken on this, because you didn't just end up playing in parks and in your living room and with Ed Ball. There is a whole series of tournaments that is out there that is focused on sandpaper and you know, classic in general with hardbat and liha, and I believe you have logged a national championship and an open championship. So what years were those in approximately? And let's see, which medium were you playing with exactly?
Well, I was the first. I mean, the Open Championship that I won was the 2011 National Championship in hardbat, and I lost that year in the finals of sandpaper. And then I won the U.S. Open Championship in 2013. But I also won the sandpaper in that event, and I won the liha. I won 4, like no one had ever done it before. I won like 4 of the major, you know, events. And then, yeah, so I did. I accomplished some things. So I became a national champion, I guess you can say. So,
which was what you started out as a little kid with your brothers, right?
Yeah, yeah. But the thing about me is, you know, I play like a kid. You know, I still do, and people always say that, you know, because I'm all about the joy of the game, you know, and you know, diving for balls or whatever, and so it's that joy for me. Ping pong is such a beautiful game. It just takes you away from the world, the stresses of life, to me, and it just puts you in a focused world, you know, of joy. It's just an amazing thing for me, you know.
Well, it takes us all to interesting places that maybe we wouldn't have gone to otherwise. For you, I saw a video of you playing against Timo Boll at a time that he was in the top 2 in the world, I think. He may have even been world champion then. Yeah. For me, it puts me on Zoom at midnight talking to a famous actor in California. You know, we all have our own little path, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I've been trying to steer people towards sharing stories, and you've done a
Yeah.
pretty good job along the way. Any favorite table tennis story to share?
I have so many stories, but I'll tell you one that kind of goes into two. But I was in the finals of sandpaper in, let's say, 2012. I don't know what it was. And it was the national championship. And I'm playing Ken Pinelli. Ken Pinelli is a great player, great hardbat player, great sandpaper player, great sponge player, from what I understand, And we're in the finals, and he's up 2-0. And then I come back and tie it 2-2 in games. We play best of 5 to 21, right? So it's a long match and long points, and it's exhausting. And then the last game we're playing, and I think I was up. Was I up 4-1, or he was up, whatever, real early in the game, and he got a cramp. He got a cramp in his leg. And so he went down on the ground. He's like, oh, and he's holding his leg and, and all that. And I ran over there and I'm massaging his leg. And I say, he needs some water. So, and he's like, oh, and we've got fans watching, and so I'm massaging his leg, and I help him get feeling better, and I give him my water, and, so he gets up, he starts playing, and he kicks my butt. From that point on, I couldn't get a point. So he won the championship, like it was like 21-13 or something. But I kind of lost that, that passion. I won the last two games or whatever.
The killer instinct that
killer
was
instinct.
Leaving him writhing in pain on the floor. That part,
yeah. So anyway, 2 years later, we're playing in the quarterfinals of sandpaper, and I'm playing Ken Pinelli again, and he's up 2-0. And at that time, I had a severe back, leg, something going on. And I couldn't move. I couldn't move very well. But I'm battling, and I'm fighting. And I somehow win the next game, 21-19. Then we come back, and I win the next game, 21-19. Now, here we go to the last game. And now I can't even walk to get the ball. If I have to walk to get the ball, I have to walk sideways because I can't go straight. And I'm like, I'm crying. And literally, I'd fall on the ground, and Ken would come over and help me up, lift me up. And, he would say, do you want to call a doctor? I said, no, let's play, Ken. Let's keep going. And we'd play, and I'd fall again. He'd come over, lift me up. And I ended up winning that match 26-24 or something in the final game, and went on to the semifinals. But, yeah, it was kind of like a poetic sort of justice in a sense. And but it's, that was painful, but it's the joy of the game, and yeah, it's just an amazing game. What can you say? So, yeah.
So when's the next time you think you'll get to play? Do you have a place and a person you can play in sequester here, or no?
I just played today. I have you have to understand, I have a really big garage. It's like an 8-car garage. There's not a cars in my garage. It's for my ping pong table. Okay. So I have a few friends that come over and we play. And today, I have crooked arms to begin with, but my right arm, I can't even come close to straight. So I played left-handed. And this guy was a 2250 player in his time. He's a little bit younger than me, but we had a pretty good match, and I'm playing left-handed. So that's how much I love the game. Is like, I kind of play right or left, but not that great left, but we had some good matches, so.
With some practice, you'll have a new angle for next time.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so we've had a lot of conversations over the years. We had opportunity to work together a couple times, going back a ways with articles, and I think I helped you with your website a little bit.
Yeah, you always came through for me, Steve. Thank you so much.
So I have fond memories of you sending me a thank you at one point that included a variety of Greek foods and cookies that I think your mom made.
That's amazing you would say that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a really neat treat, and wanted to bring that up as well. But it's really nice to get to see you. So actually having the technology catch up so that we can see each other's face while we're talking is a big deal. I hope when all of the tournaments are back and running again, that we'll get to be in the same place at the same time at some point. And I have never had a chance to play you in hardbat. Not exactly my forte, but I may do a little practicing ahead of that, and maybe we'll get to take a crack at hitting together sometime.
Maybe a side bet, huh? What do you think? A little side bet?
If I get to play with my Dignic paddle, maybe. But yeah, we'll talk through that at some point.
I gotta tell you. Let me tell you, please. Today, when my friend came over to play ping pong, he's a really good cook. He made moussaka and tiramisu, and he brought it over, and I gave him some of my mother's cookies, which my mother sends me all the time. Yeah, it was like a no one lost today. It was all about, I got the moussaka and tiramisu. He got my mother's cookies. It was great, So
I'm having conversations with people every day who are missing being able to play at all. So if you don't have a robot, or you don't have a friend that is appropriately socially distanced, I have a club. I have a key to the club, and I have no one to play. So it's just me and my 12-year-old, or me and a board. In the basement. But no, I envy you having a garage and friends that you trust to play with, and hopefully we're all going to have doors open again here sometime soon.
Yeah, I feel bad. A lot of people have reached out to me, and I just can't bring everybody over to my place and play. And I actually convinced the park that I go to play to stay open right before they closed everything. I said, this is it's good for our spirit, it's good for our mind, body. And she was like, okay, and left it open. And I really believe that we need to, to be able to, like, I ride my bike, I do other things. I think it's really important to do that. And I feel bad for people who play ping pong and can't play right now. My goodness, that's tough. That's tough. So.
All right. Well, that's not exactly a high point to end on, but this is probably a pretty good point to end the interview. I really appreciate you taking the time to chat today. I think others are going to enjoy listening to it too. And thanks for joining the PongCast.
Hey, thanks for having me, Steve. Great seeing you, man. Amazing. You look great.
Nice to see you too. Thanks.